We're going to be forward folding, which is quite difficult when hamstrings are tight or we don't use our core enough. So we're just going to practice some poses and just loosen up the back body to be able to fold forward. And having said as well that we're going to, last week we spoke about hand mudras. So we had Vishnu, which is the one we use for our alternate nostril breathing, which was the 2 fingers against the pad of the thumb. So that's the Hindu god who's the protector. And today when we sit and do our pranayama, which we can start now while I fiddle with the scent, is to sit however you feel comfortably. And it's the Gyan mudra, which is, it's the tip of the finger and the index finger and the thumb together. And then the other fingers are straight, but not, you don't have to be rigid. They can be quite relaxed, and the palm turned up. So it's both hands and resting just on your lap. And the thing with hand mudras is that they direct the energy. They have an attitude or a relationship to the body and the prana, the energy. So it doesn't matter if you don't do it, but if you a little bit of additional knowledge. And this one, the Gyan mudra, means knowledge or wisdom. So it actually draws the energy in to give your thoughts more focus and draw in that wisdom. So we're going to sit for our pranayama, our breath work, which is to sit nice and tall, but we're going to inhale for the count of 4, and then you want to hold that breath in for the count of 3, and then exhale for the count of 6. And if you can, we're going to do the root lock at the same time. So your Mula Bandha, which is to lift your pelvic floor. So particularly on the holding the breath in for 3, see if you can remember to squeeze the pelvic floor, as well as allowing the breath to move softly through the nostrils with the mouth closed, just for a couple of minutes. So completing one more round until you count the exhale out for 6, and then lowering your head and opening your eyes. And then we're going to come into Balasana, child's pose. Knees wide, toes touching. Bring the forehead and the tip of the nose to the mat. Just rest your forearms down. And feeling into the hips. Being aware of that compression at the front of the thigh, the lengthening of the glutes and the hamstrings. And then activating your arms. So you want to lift your elbows, straighten your arms, press your palms down and push them away from you. So really feel that lengthening in the spine. Feel the tailbone drawing towards your heels. And then inhale, lift your head, and we're going to come into puppy pose and a Anahatasana. So knees under hips, tuck your toes under, walk your hands forward, and then turn your tailbone up. Draw your forehead down. You can rest it on your block or the towel roll if it feels a bit too intense through the shoulders, but you want to keep both arms straight with the elbows lifted. Feel into the shoulders. If you take your neck, you want to come forward more, so your hips are over your knees. So walk your hands forward. A bit more, and forward more. So lift your head. Rest your forehead on there. Okay, and then inhale and come forward into Sphinx. So lying on your front, elbows under shoulders, forearms down. Activate through the feet, so tops of the feet press down so the kneecaps lift. Press down through your elbows, lift your chest. So draw your elbows forward a little more. Yeah, so you want elbows under shoulders, not behind. And then draw the chest forward, feel that lengthening in the core, but strong through the glutes. Press your pubic bone down. And either gaze ahead or draw your chin down slightly. And then bend your left leg. You can either lie down or just prop yourself up on the right forearm, bring it in front of you. And then you're going to reach back for a quad stretch. So have your thumb facing down, take the outside edge of the foot, let the elbow bend as you draw the heel in. So press the glutes down, feel the front of the hip lengthening, all the way down to the knee, so the quads. And then let the arm straighten and push your foot into your hand. And breathe. And then exhale, soften, release the foot, other side. So being aware of the length through the front of the hip. And then push the foot away from you, straighten your arm. So feel that shoulder opening as well, the right shoulder rolling back. And then exhale, release. We're going to come into locust. So to start with, we're going to do long locust with the arms in front. So tops of the feet pressed down so you feel your thighs engage, internal rotation of the thighs, and then have your palms facing each other, gazes down, and inhale, lift. So get nice and long, reach through your fingertips. Internal rotation of the thighs, so try and spread the back of the pelvis. And then exhale, rest your head on your arms, turn your feet out. Rock your hips a little. And again, reach the arms in front, but this time you're going to have the palms down, let the elbows come out. We're going to do it's like little Superman. So as you lift your feet off the mat, lift your arms, and then you're going to squeeze your elbows down towards your ribs. So feel your shoulder blades squeezing. Reach forward like your fingers will touch. So trying to keep the elbows and arms on the same plane. Keep the gaze down, squeeze your shoulder blades, reach like you're swimming. One more. And exhale, release, rest your head on your arms, turn your feet out. Rock your hips. And then into normal locust, bring your arms down by your side, palms facing up, gazes down, inhale, lift the legs, draw your inside edge of the feet together if you can, lift your chest, shoulder blades draw down your back, reach with your fingertips, and see if you can lift a tiny bit higher, squeeze your glutes, feel the back really working. Exhale, release, turn one cheek to the mat. Relax for a breath. And then inhale again into locust and lift. Exhale, release. Rest your head on your arms. Relax the hips. Okay, then palms down, tuck your toes, come up into down dog. You can walk your dog a little, so feel through the calves, slowly paddle the heels. Placing the hands well, press that palm down, the finger knuckles. And then we're going to ripple forward 3 times. So you want to come up on your toes, lift your hips as high as you can, and then roll yourself forward into plank. The head comes up last. And then back the other way, spread the shoulders, lifting up. Tailbone goes up, heels draw down, ears between arms, and forward again, as slow as you can. But when you come forward, don't drop the hips down too far. Feel the thighs and shins squeeze towards each other, lifting up. Exhale to down dog, and then last one, rolling forward. And back up. Lower the heels, come into down dog. And while we're here, being aware that this is a version of a fold. If you were standing on your feet, feel how as you turn your tailbone up, you squeeze your thigh muscle. So you're trying to squeeze your kneecaps to engage the quads. And feel your core. So you want to lift your mula bandha, your pelvic floor. Draw your navel towards your spine. And reach the chest. So get nice and long in the front body as much as the back body. And then you're going to drop your knees. Take your knees wide. We're going to do frog rocks. So for hips, so knees nice and wide, you could even turn sideways on the mat. So you got a bit more padding. But you want to have your ankles in line with your knees and then flex your feet. Palms down. And then you're going to rock back a little and forward. So hold a little longer as you rock backwards, but trying to keep your ankles in line with your knees. So you want to kind of a right angle and flex your feet if you can, which means draw your toes towards your shins. Rock backwards and forwards. Okay, and then tuck your toes, bring your knees parallel, lift up into down dog. And then we're going to come into pigeon. So lift the right leg up, lower the left heel, little stretch through the back of that left leg, and then roll forward into plank and bring the right knee behind your right wrist and draw the toes across. Shuffle the left leg back, so pigeon pose. So we want to have the knee slightly to the outside of the hip. If you can, like the full pose, if you have the flexibility, which I don't, is to have the front shin parallel to the front of the mat with the foot flexed. But that's such a tight angle for knees and hips. So if you're tight through the hips, then you point your toe and the heel is roughly in line with the opposite hip. Then walk your fingertips back, press down through that front shin, lift your chest, settle your hips down. So feel that lengthening. You might want to wiggle the left leg back a little, draw in through your core, and then reach your arms forward. And you can start to fold if you can. If it's too intense, stay upright. If you can, you'll fold. So as we're trying to get space in our folds, you want to try and reach with your chin and your chest, and then on an exhale, soften. So each time you inhale, you might want to lift just slightly by a millimeter and reach a little longer. And it might even help you to tuck the left toes under a little if you want to push yourself forward slightly. That's if your hips are extra tight, it might help to just take a bit of pressure off that thigh. Breathe into it, use your exhale. So hopefully no pain in the knee. If there is, come out of it. Okay, then tuck your left toes under, palms down, come back into down dog. Bring the right leg up behind, just give it a wiggle. And then down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up and bring the left knee behind the left wrist and come into pigeon. Again, walk your fingertips back either side of the front knee. Press through the shin, lift up. So feel that length through the core, lift up. Settle your hips down and then walk your hands forward and fold. Reach with your chest, try and get as long as you can rather than just curling inwards. You're trying to keep length. Okay, and then inhale, tuck the right toes under, palms down, step back into down dog. Give that left leg a little wiggle. Down dog. And then we're going to drop our knees down, come to sit, and bring your legs out in front of you. So Paschimottanasana is seated forward fold. So when this is the seated version of Uttanasana, which is our forward fold in the sun salute. So when we fold here, or we might bend our knees if our hamstrings are tight. So this is the seated version, which is often, well, it is harder than the standing version. So if you want to sit up on your towel, if you've got your rolled up towel, you can just raise your hips just a little to help tilt the pelvis forward. Because what will happen if your hamstrings are tight and we're trying to fold forward, so we've tried to warm up a little, stretch through the hips, but as you start to fold forward, you might feel your pelvis drop back. So, and the tailbone will tuck under. So we want the opposite. You want to sit up nice and tall, like we do when we're folding forward standing. You want to feel as if the tailbone's going back, so you can rock your pelvis forward. Lift your arms up and flex the feet. So toes up to the ceiling. You want that little internal rotation of the thighs, so the legs aren't rolling outwards. And then lift, lift, lift up. Tilt forward. So you might only go a millimeter, but trying to reach the front of the pelvis forward, squeeze your pelvic floor. And then if you can, you'll keep going. We'll start to curl inwards. Take 2 fingers to wrap around your big toes with your thumb. And if you can't reach your feet, then just rest your hands on your shins. Because what we don't want is to feel the shoulders stretching and we lose control of our core. So you want to squeeze your mula bandha, that's your pelvic floor, lifted up. Draw your navel towards your spine, lift your chest. Press through the heels, backs of the thighs pressing down, and then you'll start to curl inwards. So if you're holding onto the shins, same thing, you want to focus on your core. It's not about your arms pulling you forward. And then inhale, start to sit up, engage the legs, lift the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. And then turning, no, okay, towel actually. If anybody wants a towel to sit on, I've got. Does anybody need? Right. So it just helps to have a little bit of height to bring yourself sort of to the edge of the towel roll, so your pelvis tilts forward, and then take your legs wide. So push out through your heels, draw your toes up towards the ceiling. You want to feel that internal rotation, so knees and toes are pointing up. Press through the backs of the thighs, fingertips in front of you. And we're just going to stay here for a minute to feel if you can, rather than let the pelvis rock back, you want to see if you can roll forward slightly, which is where the towel will help to lift the hips just slightly. And now we're going to bend the left leg. So this is one-legged forward fold. So this involves a twist, Janu Sirsasana. So the right leg is going to stay exactly the same. Press through the heel, keep nice and strong, squeeze the kneecap, soften through the opposite hip. So if you feel that your knee you can't release through the hip enough that the knee's sticking up, you can just rest it, prop it on the block. You're facing centrally, inhale, bring your arms up. So feel your pelvic floor lift, your navel drawing in, lift your chest, but relax around the sides of the neck so the shoulders are soft. And now we're going to start, as you inhale, revolve from the navel, and then exhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, reach for the foot. If you can reach the foot, then you bring both hands around it with the thumbs at the base of the middle toe, the second and third toe. Otherwise, hold on, just rest on your shin. Keep that chest lifted, and then reach your chin, exhale, fold. See how we're trying not to let the pelvis go back. We're trying to get space in the front of the hips. And then inhale, lift the arms up, keep the legs strong, back to center, exhale, change sides. Inhale, bring your arms up, reach, squeeze the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor is helping you to connect to your core, which is helping to bring the front of the pelvis forward. So squeeze it, exhale, and fold over the straight leg. So keep that heel, so toes up to the ceiling, push through the heel. Just relax both hands. If you can't touch the foot, both hands just rest on the thigh, so you're not over twisting one shoulder in front of the other. Push through the heel, reach with your chest, and each exhale, just trying to deepen a little further, and then inhale, coming back up, exhale, hands to heart, then coming onto your hands and knees, up into down dog, and walk your hands back towards your feet, and slowly come to stand. And then walk to the front of the mat. For our half salutes. So in fact, actually, we'll do this with block. So take your block between your shins, feet are parallel. So other way, so the thin, not, yeah, so that's it. So that you feel, so we're just going to do our half salute, so we're not stepping back, but feel as you squeeze in, you should feel your pelvic floor. So this is helping to engage so we can fold forward a little easier. So thighs are strong, squeezing in, inhale, palms to touch, look up. Exhale, forward fold. So turn the tailbone up, straight legs. And then if you can't reach palms down or fingertips, then bend your knees a little to help. Inhale to halfway lift, straight legs, palms into shins, look up, tailbone up, and exhale, fold. Squeeze the block, pelvic floor, inhale, strong legs all the way up, palms to touch. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Standing mountain, get rid of the block. Don't forget that inner hug, so hugging towards the midline. Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salute A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, palms to touch. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga, low press up. So drop knees if you need to. Lowering to the mat. Hands beside ribs. Inhale to Cobra or Up Dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, come to Down Dog. 3 breaths. So settling into it, feeling almost like the upper arms slightly rotate outwards, spread the shoulders that tiny bit more. Drawing the heels down, then inhale. Up on your toes, bend your knees. You can bring hop, step, jump forward, but bring that one foot all the way forward. If you're coming one leg at a time to halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands up, palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart, and then Tadasana, mountain. So we're going to do 2 more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga, low press up. Inhale to Up Dog or Cobra. Shoulders away from ears. Exhale to Down Dog, 3 breaths. And inhaling to come forward to Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. But remembering the core, reaching the chest as you fold. And then inhale all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart. Tadasana, mountain. Last one. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra or Up Dog. Exhale to Down Dog. 3 breaths. So feel that action through the pelvis. Turn your tailbone up. Get long in the spine. You can bend your knees if you need to Release those hamstrings a little. And then when you're ready, inhale to come forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana fold. Inhale all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart, Tadasana. Okay, so there's one pose that we haven't done in class before, because we do normally do the modification, but some of you might want to give it a go, which is we normally do figure 4, so which is the standing version of pigeon. So you'll cross and flex one ankle across the other, and then sit down and turn your tailbone up, so you really feel the stretch through the raised leg. But the actual pose in yoga is called Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana. So it's half bound, it's a half lotus pose. So that means that instead of this, you bring the knee up and you take the heel. So without yanking it, you want to kind of just guide the heel in. If the heel doesn't reach the top of the thigh, then you probably shouldn't try and fold, but you can give it a go. I just remember learning it and knowing that it actually felt really good to try it, so that you can feel how you're growing and you get to understand where you're going with it. So it's to externally rotate the thigh and draw the heel in, so you're in a half lotus, but you want to be able to drop the knee down. And it's actually Ardha Baddha means half bound. So I would hold one hand, holds the other, and then I'll fold. And then you bend the knee slightly to come up and release. So there are all sorts of little versions of that that you can try. So if it's beyond to get into a half lotus and one leg might be better than the other, then you just come into figure 4 and work with that, because that's the hip opener. But if you'd like to try it, and if you want to go to the wall, so you've got a bit of balance, so we'll try, because we're going to put this into a sequence. So if you want to try it, you firstly want to feel as if you can guide the heel. So use your core. It's like you're forward, well, you are forward folding. Bring the heel in. And you don't have to do the bind. You can use both hands to hold the front of the ankle and drop the knee down and just reach forward. You might want to use the rather than the binding hand. Yeah. If you can't get the bind, then just use the other hand. Yeah, so now hold your left hand to the ankle and fold, reach your right hand to the ground. So if you're not doing the bind, you reach the opposite hand. So if your right leg, it'll be your right hand goes down. Yeah, and the left hand holds the foot. But any pain in the knees, don't do it. But also, all this balance is good for your ankles. So try the other side. Don't forget to breathe, because when we're doing forward folding, you don't have space. Yeah, so it's best not to use an exhale to go down. And also, because it's a balance, you can really use your focus, your drishti. So when you're getting into it, you might want to focus ahead, and then as you fold, just take your gaze down. Okay, so just come back to the front of the mat. Just stand in mountain with your eyes closed for a moment. So feet hip distance apart. Just let the breath settle. Let the shoulders relax. Okay, then inhale, open your eyes. As you exhale, then inhale, take the weight into your right foot. Lift your left knee up. So use the mountain pose, fingertips reaching for the earth to steady you. Gaze in front. And then we're going to do little hip circles. Roll that knee up and round. You can bring hands to hips or to your heart if you'd find it easier. And then pause. Exhale, release. Other side. Inhale, weight into the left foot, lift the right knee up. Big circles. Just as if you've been trying a lotus, and just get a bit more. Bring the knee forward. Exhale, release. Then inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, but really hinge. It's like you're swan diving. Turn the tailbone up, pull up through the thighs. Think of the pelvic floor as you fold. Inhale to halfway lift. And then we're going to sit back into chair pose. So bring your arms forward, sit down. Rock back towards your heels so you can see your toes in front of your knees. Bring the arms up. Gaze goes between your thumbs, so neutral pelvis, don't stick the bottom out here. And then go a little deeper. Feel as if the block is between your shins, squeezing inwards. You can bring your arms forwards if the shoulders are a little bit too tight, but otherwise keep lifting. And then inhale, rising up, palms to touch. Exhale. Would you release your hands to your side? Inhale, to the weight into your right foot, left knee up, step back to triangle, Trikonasana. Straight legs, you're on that central line, nice and wide. Take your arms wide, squeeze those shoulder blades towards each other. Gaze over your front hand, take the left hip back, side body long. So reach for me, get real space between the hip crease and the armpit. Squeeze those thighs and then tip. Lean back a little. You want to stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Reach up through those top fingertips and press through the back of the head so your head isn't lolling forward. And then inhale, coming up, arms go wide, Parsvakonasana, side angle stretch. Bend through the right knee. You can either do the modified, which is to rest a forearm and sweep, or you can have the block on the inside or reach your fingertips down. Sweep that top hand up and over. Roll the left ribs up to the ceiling. And feel that connection between the front knee and the upper arm. Then inhale, come back up, arms go wide, hands to hips, straighten the legs, turn your feet parallel. So this is wide-legged forward fold. So have the outside edge of your feet parallel. So push your heels out slightly. Squeeze your kneecaps, draw up through your Mula Bandha, your reach lock, pelvic floor. And then inhale, bring your arms up. Feel the navel drawing in. And then we're going to reach the arms forward, turn the tailbone up and bring your fingertips down under your shoulders. So we're not walking the hands back yet. Turn your tailbone up. So you want to feel the inner thighs, the back of the thighs. And then if you're touching the mat, you can use a block, press into a block if that helps. But if your hands are down, then you can walk your fingertips back so they're in line with your toes, palms down, and then hug the elbows in so your forearms are parallel. And you want to rock your weight towards the balls of your feet. Now really use your core. So squeezing your pelvic floor, navel to spine. Inhale as you slightly lift your chest, and then exhale, draw a little deeper. You're trying to reach the crown of your head down. Hug those elbows in, Chetna. Yeah. Elbows draw towards it. So feel that spread through the upper back. Beautiful. And then inhale. You're going to come up onto your fingertips. And then exhale, hands to hips, your halfway lift. So just stay there, then micro bend in your knees, and then inhale all the way up. Heel toe, bring your feet together. We're going to come into either figure four or our half lotus forward fold on the right side. So inhale, either figure 4 here, and you can have hands to heart or hands to, or you're going to come into your half bind. You can take hold of and fold. Use the exhale, oops, to fold. Then bend the knee, inhale to stand, step back to high lunge. So shoot the right foot back. Sink into high lunge, draw the arms up, reach up, look up. So feel your tailbone trying to draw down towards the heel. Knit those ribs. And then humble warrior. Legs stay the same, but sweep the arms back, dip the head and shoulders down on the inside of the front thigh. Feeling that thigh working. Inhale, coming up, drop the right heel down, warrior 2. So left knee over left ankle, arms go wide. Shoulders stacked. Gaze over the front hand, sink a little deeper. So not the knee rocking forward in front, you just want to take the hips down. So if you need to take the legs a little wider, feel that left buttock rolling under you. Exhale, hands to hips, step to the front of the mat. Other side. Inhale, weight goes into the left foot, right knee up, step back to Trikonasana, triangle. Right hip back, reach over the front leg and then tip on the exhale. Reach up, rolling those right ribs up to the ceiling. Press through the back of the head as you turn to look up. And then inhale, coming up to side angle stretch. Bend the left knee, rest the forearm or bring the hand down on the inside. Rolling the ribs up to the ceiling. Sweep that top arm over. So if you use your block, if you're trying to come down, you want a bit more height so that you can stack your shoulders. Yeah, see how you can open your ribs a bit more. There's more space, that's what we're going for. If you fold too far for the flexion in your shoulders, then use the block. And then we're going to inhale. Coming up, hands to hips, turn your feet parallel. Again, wide leg forward fold. So you want to bring your hands to the bony part of your pelvis. So not your waist, you want to come right onto the iliac crest there. Turn your tailbone up behind you as you come to fold to halfway. Bring your weight forward towards the balls of your feet. And then you're going to fold, but keep your hands where they are. So now you don't have your arms to help with gravity. Draw your pelvic floor up, navel in, draw the crown of the head down towards the mat. Squeeze those thighs. Imagine your thighs are together. You want to squeeze them in towards each other. Really use the core. Use your breath. And then inhale, come to halfway lift. Exhale there, and then inhale all the way up. And then we're going to step to the front of the mat. You're going to do your half bound full fold. So on the left leg, so lifting the left leg, the heel into the hip crease of the right leg. And if you can fold or do figure 4, use your breath. And then from there, you're going to inhale, come up, release the foot, step back to high lunge. So feet on train tracks, up on the ball of the back foot. Think your hips. So lengthening through the front of that left hip. Bring your arms up, reach up. Glance down, make sure you can see your big toe on the inside of that front knee. One more breath here, reaching up through the fingertips, and then exhale to humble warrior. Legs stay the same. Reach your chest forward, relax head and shoulders. So trying not to lean on that front thigh. Stay light. And then exhale, drop the left heel down. You're going to be in warrior. Oh, no. Warrior 2. You're all still with me, it's great. I've lost you along the way. Turn your head. So keep those shoulders sat, sink the hips. Draw in through the core, roll that right buttock under slightly. And then exhale, hands to hips. Step the left foot forward and stand. Ta-da! Okay, come to sit. Legs out in front of you. And again, we're going to do our seated forward fold just once more. So if you want to sit up on your towel, flex at the ankles, press the backs of the thighs down. And for a moment, we'll be in staff pose, Dandasana. So rest your hands beside you without pushing through them. You're just resting the hands. So elbows soft, draw the elbows towards each other, draw the toes up to the ceiling. And then squeeze your pelvic floor, draw your navel in, lift your chest, inhale, bring your arms up. And then exhale, keep lifting, hinge forward. And then you'll start to draw inwards to be able to reach the feet or rest your hands on your thighs. But keep the elbows soft if you're touching your feet. So the strength is coming from your core and from the backs of the thighs. And then inhale, coming up. We're going to do one more. Take your feet wide. And this is just for laughs. So this is Upavista Konasana, which is, so you can take hold of the feet, and if you can lift your feet, you can start here, and it's balancing, so to take the legs wide. So it's like push through the heels. So it's really strong in the core. You're trying to lift your chest. So it's a little like when we're in boat pose, that you want to lift, really engage the core. So your back is straight. So you're trying to lift your chest as you lift. You can take one up if you feel that you can't take both, but push through the heels and trying to balance. And legs don't need to be straight, but you want to feel, lift your chest, breathe. Well done. And exhale, release the feet down. We're going to come to lie on your backs in butterfly. So lying back, bring the soles of the feet together. Let your knees roll out, slightly tuck your tailbone. You can bring your hands to the top of the thighs to just help them, a little bit of extra weight. And as a counter pose to all that core work, deep core work, come into bridge. So thighs are parallel, feet flat on the floor, heels under your knees, arms by your side, and then inhale, draw the lower back into the mat and lift your hips up. And then exhale, lowering down through the vertebrae, hips down last. And then again, inhale to lift. So you're trying to lengthen through the front body. So gentle squeeze of your glutes. Press down through your heels. And that extra shoulder or chest opening, press the shoulder blades down. And then exhale, lowering down. And then knees bent, take your feet apart, knock your knees together. Bring your hands onto your stomach. Feet down, Leticia. Yeah, knock your knees together. That's it. So just relax, let the hips relax. That's it. And then hug your knees into your chest. A little rock there. And then coming into Shavasana, relaxation. So you can keep your knees bent or lie flat. Whatever comfortable. And I shall play a mantra for you just to keep your attention for these last few minutes. Find it. Slowly bringing your awareness back to the sounds around you, starting to make small movements, fingers and toes, and then bringing your feet together, stretch your arms over your head. And then curling onto your right side for a moment. And coming to sit facing me with your eyes closed. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Bring your palms together at your heart center, lowering your head and opening your eyes. Namaste. Thank you.